On November 7, 2025, Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi spoke out directly during a National Diet question-and-answer session, saying that if a Taiwan contingency involves armed conflict, it could qualify as a national survival crisis situation under Japan's security laws, meaning the self-defense forces might need to exercise collective self-defense rights. This statement quickly sparked a fierce backlash from China, with the Foreign Ministry spokesperson repeatedly stressing that it seriously interferes in internal affairs, and responding through military exercises and navigation warnings. Right in this tense moment, China's Consul General in Osaka, Jian, posted on X, formerly Twitter, on November 10th, targeting Takaichi's remarks with these words: "That filthy head that dares to pop up on its own can only be chopped off without a second thought." The Japanese side saw this as a direct threat to their prime minister. Then, on November 20th, at the Japanese House of Councillors Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee, newly elected Japan Innovation Party Senator Shí Píng made his debut appearance, drawing on his unique insights into Chinese affairs to hit right at the heart of the issue. He strongly condemned Jian's words as bordering on incitement to murder and urged Foreign Minister Motegi Toshimitsu to declare the diplomat involved persona non grata, an unwelcome person, under the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, and decisively expel him from the country. This straight-shooting questioning didn't just ignite alarm in Japan's political circles about wolf warrior diplomacy. It also stirred up waves in public opinion, injecting real strategic tension into Japan-China relations. Xi Ping's remarks weren't some spur-of-the-moment outburst. They stemmed from his long-term observation of China's diplomatic patterns. Against the backdrop of Takaichi's comments triggering economic pressure from China, like travel warnings for students studying abroad and pauses in cultural exchanges, this call to action came at just the right time, giving Japan a timely path to shift from passive defense to proactive pushback, highlighting the tangled complexities of East Asian geopolitical games. Xi Ping's questioning quickly became the hot topic in Japanese media, hitting the front pages of newspapers and websites across the board. Sankei Shimbun led the way with an exclusive interview, breaking down in detail how screenshots of Jian's posts spread, interpreting it as an outright insult to Japan's sovereignty and its leaders, and quoting Xi Píng to stress that Japan needs to respond with the dignity of a civilized nation so their talk of strategic reciprocity doesn't turn into hot air. The Mainichi Shimbun and the Japan Times zeroed in on the committee session details, reporting how Xi Píng backed Takaichi full-throatedly. The Prime Minister's words are completely reasonable. They can deliver real deterrence against potential crises. These reports went beyond just recapping the facts. They dug into the ripple effects on Japan-China trade, like how China's suspension of the China-Japan-South Korea Cultural Forum could lead to breakdowns in people-to-people exchanges. Analysts pointed out that this incident might push Japan's diplomacy away from vague responses toward drawing much clearer lines. The international media brought an even wider lens. Deutsche Welle interviewed Xi Píng on November 16th, framing it around the context of him being sanctioned by China, spotlighting the unique insights from his dual identity as the first ethnic Chinese-Japanese lawmaker. Bloomberg cut in from the angle of global supply chains, criticizing China's over-the-top reaction as exposing their anxiety over stability in the Taiwan Strait, and citing Xi Píng's warning, China is unlikely to apologize on their own. This is a chronic illness in their system. Fox News and Voice of America tied the event to the U.S.-Japan alliance, calling Jian's words way beyond diplomatic norms, and saying it could speed up Japan's military buildup in the Indo-Pacific. These stories together built an international narrative, turning Xi Píng's personal voice into a barometer for East Asian tensions, reminding the world to keep an eye on the potential spillover effects from the Taiwan Strait. Xi Píng's call to action was like dropping a stone in a pond, sending ripples through Japan's political world. Japan Innovation Party leader and Osaka Governor Yoshimura Hirofumi was the first to forward the committee video on X, publicly declaring, "I refuse to attend any events hosted by Jian until he issues a formal apology." This stance lined up perfectly with Xi Píng's, racking up thousands of likes. Writer Kadota Ryuji reposted Xi Píng's expulsion manifesto, calling out, Let China see the firm changes under Takaichi's government. That post blew up with over 10,000 interactions in no time. Historian Takeuchi Tsuneyasu shared video clips, quipping with humor that it was a perfect wrap-up while ramping up his critique of gangster-style diplomacy and extending the conversation to YouTube discussions. Inside the Liberal Democratic Party, support signals popped up too. Foreign Minister Motegi Toshimitsu was cautious in the meeting, saying they'd take appropriate and firm measures, but several lawmakers like Sado Masahisa interpreted it on X as tacit endorsement of Shí Píng, calling for immediate expulsion to show resolve. Takaichi's inner circle expressed agreement through off-the-record interviews, creating a linked-up response from the Diet to local levels. Conservatives like Aso Taro even hinted at party meetings that Japan needs to stand up for its allies. These reactions didn't stay boxed in on X, they spread to traditional interviews and policy debates, showing how Shí Píng's words acted as a catalyst, nudging Japan from diplomatic protests toward real moves. The Japanese public's reaction to Shí Píng's questioning was mostly supportive. When Takaichi first made her Taiwan contingency remarks, it stirred up real controversy. Former Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru came out against it publicly, saying it was pretty much the same as saying Taiwan is Japan. And it sparked protests by hundreds in places like Tokyo, with crowds chanting, "Takaichi step down." Constitutional Democratic Party leader Noda Yoshihiko also slammed it as reckless, worrying it'd worsen Japan-China tensions. But once Shui Jian's threatening post came to light, public sentiment flipped fast. Views on related topics on X topped 5 million, with Shí Píng's posts hitting over 20,000 likes. Netizens hailed him as Japan's voice of clarity, with one top post saying, "Shí Píng came from China, but he gets better than anyone how to protect Japan from naive illusions." Another user sighed, "His words shifted me from worrying about war to backing Takaichi's strategic deterrence." There were some scattered doubts, like far-right folks mocking this naturalized guy sticking his nose in, or left-leaners fretting it'd pour gas on the fire. But overall, support won out big time. The latest Kyodo News poll shows over 70% of Japanese agree that we need a tough response to threats from China, and support for Takaichi's remarks jumped from an initial 40% to 69.9%. Shí Píng's eye-opening effect is crystal clear. Plenty of neutral netizens shared their turnarounds on X. Shí Píng's one line woke me from my dream. Takaichi isn't some gambler, she's a guardian of security. This shift to consensus didn't just heal domestic rifts, it strengthened Japan's strategic stance on Taiwan's Strait stability. Shí Píng's anti-China position is deeply rooted in his own life story. Born in Sichuan, he graduated from Peking University's philosophy department, then went to Japan for studies, and became a Japanese citizen in 2007. As a current affairs commentator, he ran the column Shí Píng's China Watch in Sankei Shimbun, repeatedly blasting the CCP's strong-arm narratives on Taiwan, the Senkaku Islands, and historical issues. He openly visited the Yasukuni shrine, questioned the propaganda elements in the Nanjing massacre accounts, and accused China of backwards interference on Xinjiang, Tibet, and Hong Kong topics. In 2023, he co-authored the Manifesto of China's Economic Collapse, predicting the CCP economy was bloated with too much hot air, and warning that a Taiwan contingency could lead to the self-defense forces getting wiped out. These views earned him the traitor label from China, but in Japan, they built his reputation as the go-to expert on China. After China's sanctions order hit on September 8, Shí Píng joked it was like getting a medal, and that humorous, steadfast style showed up again in this round of questioning. As a rising star in the Japan Innovation Party, his remarks this time prove his drive isn't personal grudges, it's speaking up for the rational bottom line in Japan-China relations. Shí Píng's congressional debut was like thunder at dawn, jolting Japan awake to geopolitical risks. With the winds of change swirling around the Taiwan Strait, Japan can only respond with clear-eyed resolve to hold on to peace and independence. This isn't just Shí Píng talking, it's the era's collective call for stability in East Asia. Thanks for watching and joining us on this journey to unveil China's many layers. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and hit that subscribe button to stay updated. See you in the next video.